I don't know what I just saw, but I think I just saw something, right? Like this shouldn't happen.
Hey y'all, welcome to Mom at a Bar. I'm your host, DJ Sophie Vore, and for today's episode, we've got John Price, a passionate car enthusiast and advocate of the car community. So if you love cars, nightlife, food, and drinks, this is the episode for you. How are you doing today, John?
If I was any better, I'd be in trouble.
Really?
That's what I like to tell people.
So let's go ahead and get started and talk about your journey here to Auburn.
Oh, yeah. So it all started years ago when I grew up in Smith Station, Alabama, so right down the road. And so I joined the military. And when I was on my second deployment, I decided to buy a house in Auburn. And I was like, I'm going to wait till I get home and do this. Well, I didn't. I bought it while I was overseas, sight unseen, and moved into this house the day I got home and had never seen it in person.
Had Auburn area always been the place you wanted to be at?
It was just at the time I was, in my 20s and single. And I was like, Auburn, there's a college there. There's girls there. I'm moving to Auburn. And so I ended up marrying a girl from Birmingham.
Nice.
Right.
Well, that's always really, really fun when you can keep it close to home, right?
Right, exactly.
So, in Auburn, have you seen a lot of growth? Like, how different has it changed?
Oh, it's changed so much. You can't even go downtown and recognize some of it. It's totally different, and in a good way. I mean, I think growth is great. So we're in the Auburn and the Opelika area, and both are booming towns to be in, even right now with the market like it is and stuff. So I think it's great.
What are some of the things that you miss about like old Auburn, Opelika?
Old Auburn, obviously shot bus on at Supper Club and all that being gone. That's tough. I remember when they were closing it, we went to the bar for the last time.
Yeah, I was there too.
Like,
Supper Club was, oh man, it's so weird. Like, college kids coming in these days, they're never going to understand Supper Club because there's a fucking hotel there now.
Well, for instance, you used to leave Sky Bar when they were closing it down.
Yep.
They were like shutting down the bar. They're like driving 4-wheelers, running you out of there, right? And then you would get on a bus and it would take you to Supper Club, which is on the other side of town. And then it'd be like, hey, when you get done, we're also going to take you home.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is the move. Like, who come up with this idea? It was great.
It was a good time. And it's, oh man, I always hate it because like Fat Daddies, I love Fat Daddies, but you're never going to be Supper Club.
I've never been to Fat Daddies.
You've never been to Fat Daddies?
I've never been to Fat Daddies.
Well,
I didn't even know where it was till the other day. We were passing it. And we were passing it the other day, and I had no idea where it was.
Well, it's just another like late night spot that people can go to after, the other bars shut down. But it's not the same. I would say the only difference is that, Fat Daddy's has food and Supper Club didn't really have food. But I think probably one of my favorite times at Supper Club was watching 17th Floor there.
Yeah.
I really miss them.
Yeah.
They're definitely
17th floor. Yeah. That was good.
What about other like restaurants and like other bars?
So
Pockets.
Pockets. Yeah.
Pockets was such a good spot. I really miss that place. Like we hardly have like real billiard spots anymore.
Yeah.
So that was a good spot. You wouldn't expect that there's like that large back room where they used to have like shows and stuff in the back there too.
Yeah, it was a massive building for what it was.
What else you got going?
So me and my friends and wife started Auburn Cars and Coffee and all of that. So that's going great. That's like a big thing for the car community. We're big into cars. Cars are our thing. So I grew up in cars and just kept going with the car stuff, and it's just become this big thing, and it's great.
How did you notice that like other people were as interested in cars as you were?
So it just kind of like when you get into cars, it's like you just want to tell the story, right? Like I got this car, this is why, and and so as you're telling the story, it's like you meet people that want to tell their story with it too, and it's like it just grows and grows and grows. And then when you do Cars and Coffee, it's like there's people are telling you about their builds and their stuff and what's different about their car and what's better about their car and stuff. And it's just fun.
How'd you pick like a location for Cars and Coffee? How'd the first one start? How did it all begin?
So we started out as No Ordinary Street Cars. It was like a car club. And No Ordinary Street Cars was ran by my buddy John Sanchez. And then he was like supposed to make the meat and all that stuff. And it kind of got to where he was like tired of doing it. He's like, dude, I'm done, man. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so we were like, hey, we'll take that over. So then we took it over, and it never felt like it was ours. And we were like, well, let's do Cars and Coffee. Like we need a Cars and Coffee in Auburn because we went to Caffeine and Octane
Yeah, that's
in
big.
Atlanta, and it's massive, and it's like all these crazy things, and I'm like, we need that in Auburn.
That was the one like at the mall, right, in Atlanta?
Yeah, they did it at Perimeter Mall for a long time. Now it's in Kennesaw. They still do it. That's on like NBC. It's like massive, like huge car show. And so, that just expanded our want to do it more here. And then one day I reached out to Auburn Mall and I was like, hey, I'm going to do a Cars and Coffee in your parking lot. And they were like, okay.
Was it difficult to get that?
Yes. So they were like, we open at 10. You need to be gone by 10. And I was like, that's fine. And then they were like, also, we don't know that you're doing this.
What?
They didn't really support it at the beginning. And
at the beginning, but
now it's like I've had talks with the manager and stuff, but overall it's more or less like it's a handshake deal.
How long has it been going on?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
How much growth have you seen from it?
Yeah, it's been good, like really big. We've probably, I think the most amount of cars we've had is like 200 at one time, which is pretty big for our area. I mean, it's a small town.
How do you manage 200 cars? Like, do you have other people that help you out?
Right,
just
exactly.
Kind of like
so,
maintain the peace?
Yeah, so like we're pretty strict on like no burnouts, no revving, none of that stuff. We try to keep it calm. And we're pretty successful in that. We keep the cops, we let the cops know that it's going on, so they cruise through. And overall, like everybody kind of manages their own. Of course, yeah. Overall, we just kind of manage the people and let other people manage their people. So there's car clubs that come and they're like, hey, if a guy steps out of line, like we'll take care of it.
Do you guys like actively go and reach out to other car clubs to just be like, oh, we're having this day. You guys should definitely come and join in? Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, anybody that wants to come, we encourage it. We encourage bring your kids. Like we want you to bring your kids and walk through and see the cars. Like cars aren't meant to be parked in the garage all the time. You need to take them out and have fun. So that's part of it.
How often do you guys do this?
1 weekend a month, every third Saturday. And we've been, like I said, doing it for 5 years. So it's been good.
Do you notice a lot of different cars that come through with the college scene as they roll around?
Yeah, you'll see like so some people show up with some money, right? They bring some crazy cars, and some people bring like their projects, and we've made relationships with people that you wouldn't even think about in this community. Like it's like people that are 10 years younger than me. I can still talk to like just me and you.
Yeah, just like cars.
I like cars. Like and cars unite people. I
always
definitely said that. They just bring people together. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you act like, who you are. Like, you got a car and it's interesting. Like, we want to see it. We want to hang out.
What other, like, car events do they have around the area that you're involved in?
My buddy Hunter runs Dead Pedal Motors, and they've been putting on the Tuesday night meet. They do that every first Tuesday of the month. And that's been pretty good. He has a really good turnout. Like sometimes better than Cars and Coffee. I'm like, man, come on, dude. Like,
I think is it because it's later in the night?
Yeah, it's also not as hot right now. Like it's July. Like it gets hot.
Do you notice a difference in how many people come in when school's like in session versus when it's like summer?
Yeah, because you get an influx of just different people. So the town grows massively when all the college students are in town. Like just the traffic coming here, I was like, good God, there's a lot of people around here.
Oh yeah,
there's everybody
so
moving
many people.
in. So it's like, and so they're bringing their cars down and stuff. And we've got friends from out of town they're like, hey, my son's going to be in town. So tell him about Cars and Coffee. Like get him involved.
Do you go to like the university and actively because I think they have a car club as well, don't they?
They do. Yeah. They've got, I think it's called Octane. Is that right?
So you go reach out to Octane as well. Do you go and participate in any of their car clubs as well?
Of course. Yeah, we ride through and stuff like that. Yeah, we try to get involved in car stuff as much as possible. Like that's what me and my wife do. So we love cars. That's our thing. Like if we're making a trip, we want to do it in a cool car. Like life's too short to drive boring vehicles, right?
Yeah. How far have you traveled for a car show?
We went all the way to Biloxi. We did a big show in Biloxi. That was a ton of fun. Those guys down there, they have fun.
What do you enjoy most about car shows?
It's not really car shows, just cars.
Just cars in general?
Driving the cars is my favorite part. Like,
but if you can't really, like, you can drive your car, but when you're there, it's just kind of stationary. So if anybody were to come in, how would you pull people in?
It's like the respect of other builds, right? Like, you see what they're doing. Like, this person built this or this person bought this even. Like, certain wealth brings you great things. So, you get to see these crazy cars, and I'm bigger into the exotic stuff. Like that's what I like. I want the crazy doors and all that.
Do you have a build of your own, or do you personally just go buy vehicles yourself?
So we've been in and out of what we've had. We've had multiple things. So anything. My favorite car is our Dodge Viper, and I wouldn't sell it today if you tried to buy it from me. But in general, like that's the type of cars I like. And
what's your dream car then?
That depends on what type what I'm doing with it. Is it my daily? 'Cause
Yes.
I got a daily dream car.
Okay, what's your daily dream car?
Daily dream car would be like an M4 or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then like
What do you drive now?
my truck.
Your
It's my
truck.
daily. I don't like that. Normally I have a BMW. That's my daily.
Yeah.
Right. So like an M4 would be a perfect daily car for me. Like, but then I get it and I'm like, maybe the M3 is a little better. Maybe I should change it up. So I go through cars a good bit.
Do you offer a lot of advice for people that have like, project cars themselves and they're just like frustrated because, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, so it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money, and in general, it's just see it through, right? Like whatever it is, see it through. You got to find the end of whatever it is. So
I don't know. I have a friend that's got a car that's just a shell right now, just kind of sitting somewhere.
yeah, well, they didn't see it through.
I mean, they're seeing something through the floor.
Yeah, right.
Do you plan on doing anything larger than Cars and Coffee?
We've been looking at possibly putting together like a storage place, and we want to call it like the Continental after like John Wick. You know? And so we're kind of aiming for like a collection type thing where you can store your car with us and still have a hangout and a bar and all that stuff. So in the future, that'd be a ton of fun. We'll have something like that. That would be a lot of fun. And it's like an event center more than anything.
Kind of like a museum in a sense.
Right. Like if you've got a nice car, we want to store it for you. While it's there, we take care of it, and obviously we'd have a detailer and certain things, so it'd be a ton of fun in the future. Now, this is probably the 10-year plan. Like, I'd like it to be the 5-year plan, but it's probably the 10-year plan.
Hey, it's still a plan.
That's right.
So being in Auburn and, obviously you've been here for a hot minute. What's the bar scene like? What do you like doing? Do you like going to the different bars and restaurants? Which one's been like your favorite go-to spot for back then and now?
It would have been Sky Bar when I was young, right? It's like, let's go to Sky Bar. Everybody's going to Sky Bar. Like, this is the place to be. And now that I'm older, I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. Let's do something different.
I don't know. I think I've seen you a time or two pretty recently.
Oh, no.
What's drinking like, from when you were younger versus now? Do you require more time to recuperate?
Oh, definitely. Not more time to recuperate. It's more or less like my drinking has changed. Like it used to be, I want the well drink. I want the $8 gonna get you drunk drink, right? Now it's like, hey, could I get, what kind of bourbon do you have, right? Like I could not see, younger me would look at me and be like, I don't like you.
Yeah, like you're so bougie right now.
Yeah,
what
look at
happened
you.
to
What
you?
happened to you, right? Like you used to be fun.
Yeah, can you still do shots and stuff like that? Or are you like,
I'm a tequila
bit?
guy. Like I like the tequila shots, chilled, salt and a lime. Let's go. And it's got to be good tequila.
It is like the craziest thing because tequila is my vice too. Like I love tequila, but I'll do it straight. I don't need no salt, no lime. But like everyone else around me, because they're significantly younger at the bar sometimes, and they don't do tequila.
Oh, what is the drink now?
They're so anti-tequila. They either do Rumplemans, which is disgusting.
No.
Yeah, I don't know why they love that so much, but I'm like anti-Rumplemans, or just like Vegas bombs and
that was
Vegas
the normal
bomb. Yeah,
thing.
usually if anyone comes out like my friends, I'll I know they don't do tequila because they'll just be out. It's Vegas bombs. So, but what are your go-to drinks that you like?
So right now, I really like Basil Hayden's. It's probably my favorite, like go-to, like bourbon on the rocks, something like that. But I'm normally like a Michelob Ultra guy. Like I'm just laid back drinking my Michelob Ultra. I'll even salt the beer. Like people like, what are you doing? What is that? I found that in the Keys. We were at a pool party and we've been drinking beer like all week. And I'm like dying to have something different. And that's all we brought. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. And these people had this salt at the edge of the pool. And I was like, what are you doing? And they were like putting it on their beer. And I was like, that might change the flavor of this beer. Let me try this. So I grabbed a little lime salt and did it, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. It's like margarita salt almost, but it's for your beer.
So it's literally just salt and beer.
It's like lime salt.
Lime salt.
And a beer, yeah. So, and that changes the flavor enough to make it where if you're tired of Michelob Ultra and you've had enough of it, you can keep going.
Tell me about your relationship with vodka Red Bulls.
Oh, boy. So when I was younger, I was like, I'm a Red Bull guy. I'm drinking a Red Bull now.
Yeah.
And so like I like Red Bull. Like that's my go-to. And then they were like, hey, you're at the bar, you can have a vodka Red Bull. And this is going to change your life. It does. It'll change your life. Because it'll take you where I am, lights on, nobody's home. I am not there. I'm having a great time. You're having a great time. Everybody's having a great time, but I'm not going to remember this tomorrow.
No.
Vodka Red Bulls are my blackout drink.
Has the vodka Red Bull changed for you since like
I don't drink them anymore.
No?
I've learned my lesson.
What's one of the craziest nights that you've ever had drinking?
I was at Sky Bar. Who would have thought, right? And my buddy Trey, he was the worst about bringing me downtown and then just leaving. Right? So
Irish
we go
goodbye.
down there. Yeah, we go down there and he just leaves. And so I wake up the next morning at 8:00 and I'm like, not sure how I got home, not sure how all this happened. It's not a good look, right?
No.
And so I'm like, I go down to my neighbor's house because I had lost my phone. And I knock on the door, and his wife comes to the door. And I'm like, hey, Lindsay, I'm looking for my phone. Did I leave it in the car with y'all? Y'all brought me home, right? And she goes, John, you didn't ride with us home. And she said, and by the way, you did this at 2:00 in the morning, the exact same thing, knocked on the door and asked where your phone was and could you look in the car? And I said, okay, well, can I look in the car? And she goes, you did that at 2 a.m. as well. She's like, John, it's not with us. I ended up riding home with somebody else, thank God. But yeah, I had no idea how I got home. I won't do that again.
No, definitely not.
When I decided vodka Red Bulls were no longer part of my life.
Well, it's at least you didn't end up like sleeping on the ground like someone else that I know who was drinking quite heavily. They actually walked from Sky Bar all the way down towards like the Jules Collins area, the museum. Like that's a good walk. But then he ended up like falling asleep just on the ground. And so his wife had to go and like, find his phone to just figure out where this guy was at.
Everybody has that friend that just disappears, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're all having fun, we're all hanging out, and then where'd they go? They're gone.
They're just gone.
They're just gone. Yeah.
Always, yeah. I mean, but then you find them eventually. And then they don't remember anything. So
and they tell you this wonderful story of how they got to where they were.
Have you ever seen any other crazy things at the bar?
Oh my gosh, yes, of course. Who hasn't, right? Like, you're at the bar and it's like, I don't know what I just saw, but I think I just saw something, right? Like this shouldn't happen.
Ever had any friends that, met at the bar and actually...
Our buddy had just gotten divorced, and so it's finalized, everything's done, and he's obviously out to have a good time, right? And my wife is like, you've got to be the wingman today. And I'm like, all right, we'll give it a try. Like, so we're in the boom boom room of all places of Sky Bar. And this girl starts backing up towards me. And I'm like, hey, not today. But I kind of just slide over and like slide him into the place.
Yep.
They got married.
Nice.
Yes, they're married today.
We've had a lot of like real actual proposals because normally like sometimes people like to do it for funniness and, they get free drinks and stuff. But we've had a lot of like marriage proposals or people that had like their wedding, they show up at the reception afterwards. And I always like the wedding weekends because then I can play like the fun wedding songs that you don't really get to hear, but we do get a lot of like weddings.
So what's your favorite style of music to like play for people?
Oh, I'm definitely like a throwback 2000s. Like, anything Lil Jon.
Blink 182 or Lil Jon and stuff like that? Or like which one? Like which way?
All of it.
Yeah.
Just all of it. Anything that brings a smile to anyone's face.
So I grew up in the era of like T-Pain and like, Lil Jon and all of that. So it was like.
It's always really nice because, obviously we live in a college town. The music nowadays, I wouldn't say I favor. I'll still play stuff from like when I first started DJing. But thank goodness for social media and like TikTok, there's a lot of those old school songs that are now coming back.
Right.
And so it's, acceptable to play, but people love it. It's nostalgic for a lot of folks. And, the thing people don't really understand is like, people always get the impression that Sky Bar is just like, a freshman bar and like, people come out and they're all going to be really, really young, but that's just not the case at all. You have such a wide range of people that come out, especially during like football season, football games, graduation weekend. Like you get moms and pops and everybody.
I can only imagine the stuff that goes down in Sky Bar.
There's like this one time there's a grandma who had like a walker and there was a guy like grinding on her with her walker. And I was like, is this really happening? There's just so much stuff that you just like, you don't process it.
As you're seeing it, you're just like, what did I just see and how did that happen?
Have you seen anything else aside, at the Sky Bar area, but like maybe at Supper Club? Anything happen at the shot bus?
You get on the shot bus and it's like, you don't even know who's buying shots anymore.
Right.
Like, am I buying the shots? Is he buying the shots? Is she buying the shots? Who's buying shots? And next thing you know, it's like you're walking off I was the DJ at that bar one time and I've never DJ'd in my life. I had my phone plugged in to the headphone aux cord, right? And they're like, cut on your music, and like 10 minutes later, they're like, cut off your music, right? Like,
sir, you're fired.
Sir, we're gonna need to let you go.
I do miss the shot bus. I wish somebody would like bring something like that back. Everyone always talks about how we need like more bars and more, just diversity but I I don't think so. I
Right.
mean, we do have a lot to offer. It's just people don't really go out and see that because like even Opelika,
Yeah.
there's so much happening in downtown Opelika as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's growing as well, and I think they're about to do a big something down there. I know that there's been a lot of changes.
What are some of your favorite spots in Opelika?
So I like to go to Jefferson's. They have like the coldest Michelob Ultra, obviously. So I like that. We go to Whistle Stop, and you can get kind of any beer, so that's kind of cool. The selection's different. We were at Zazzy last night, just sitting at the
Zazzy's
bar.
best. Oh.
Oh, it was great. Just sitting there at the bar. It was wonderful.
You have no idea how heartbroken I was when they closed down in downtown. I craved duck fat fries.
Oh yeah, they're so
forever.
good. Yeah,
So
it's so
good.
good.
We went to Sneak and Dawdle when they had like just like first opened. Well, for some reason, the women's bathroom was just not working. Me and my friend Katie, we had to go and use the men's restroom, and then our husbands at the time had to like stand guard to make sure that
We are your protector.
yeah, we
you
are
shall
your
not
protector.
pass.
And it was just, that was just a unique experience. This is the one and only time I've ever had to do that. I think it's gotten better since then.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah. No, it's definitely gotten better, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the girls' restroom. I don't know.
What are some of your favorite places to go eat around here?
Oh, Hamilton's is number one.
What do you get from there?
I like their black and
Chicken fettuccine.
fettuccine is
Yeah,
like my
it's
go-to. Their steak's good too. Like
crab cakes. Oh gosh, their crab cakes are so good.
she loves the hummus.
The hummus is really
the hummus
good.
is good, and so I'll be like sneaking into her hummus. And
What's the perfect date night for you guys?
I would say we'd probably go to Plaza, like hang out there for a little bit in the afternoon, and then leave Plaza and then cruise there, and then just enjoy the dinner there, and then after that probably go to Sneak and Dawdle after that, and then back to the house and relax.
Have you guys gone to like the Collegiate and stuff, like some of the little rooftop bars?
One time at the Collegiate, all of our friends are there. It's like this big event that they went to or something, and so we get back, and they've got the piano in there, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty drunk, and I'm like, hey, y'all want to hear me play the piano? They're like, you can play the piano, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can play the piano. That's no problem. I cannot play the piano, by the way.
Just like you could not DJ.
Exactly. I'm not a good DJ. I'm not a good piano player. Certain things are not on my resume for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And so I go up to the piano and I'm like cracking my knuckles, and everybody's like coming around. We're in suits, like it's I look the part, right? And then like I played chopsticks, and they were like, "All right, y'all need to go."
Yeah.
We got kicked out right after that.
Dang.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten kicked out of any other places before?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
From where?
I've been kicked out of Sky Bar before.
Oh, what'd you do?
So I actually bumped into a girl, and she knocked my vodka Red Bull out of my hand.
Uh-huh.
I paid like $8 for this thing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, excuse me, miss. You knocked this out of my hand. I do apologize. And her boyfriend got all up in my face. And I'm like, dude, like, calm it down, man. Like, we need to step it down a little bit. Like, and I was in the military and all this stuff. So I'm like, just trying to, bring the situation down a bit. Well, then like I get tackled by the bouncer. Like he thought I was trying to fight this dude. So I get tackled by the bouncer, and I'm like, dude, like calm it down. So I'm like trying to put him in like an arm bar. I'm like, calm down, man. It's good. Like just relax.
Yeah.
And then his buddies team in, and then like I just get drug out of there. And I'm like, I don't know how that escalated to this point. I don't know why it escalated to this point, but I went to Little Italy and got me a slice of pizza and just went home. I thought that was the best option for the rest of the night.
Well, if you think about it, if you had that vodka Red Bull, you wouldn't have remembered any of that.
Yeah, exactly. So it worked out in my favor, obviously.
Yeah. It's really tough in situations like that because obviously if you just see any type of escalation, the security guards are just, they're trying to like keep everybody safe. So you never really get an idea of what's happening at that moment.
I mean, 100% they're doing their job, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm the guy that's like trying to de-escalate it, but I'm probably making it worse, so who knows, right?
Yeah, blurred story. So you don't even know. You could have been the antagonizer.
It could have been me. It could have been all me, and I have no idea.
What are some of like the other places that you enjoy around this area? Do you go to like Montgomery or?
We travel a lot, so we'll go to Atlanta. Like our goal is to like stay at a bar with a hotel and just kind of hang out and talk to people. Like that's what we enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So it's like you get in this conversation about life, right? Like what we're doing, and then that just leads to new friends. So you make all these friends throughout the world, and it's like I was just sitting at a bar and made a bunch of friends.
I mean, they've got that new hotel going up next to Sky Bar. Actually, it's the Graduate Hotel, so they'll have a bar there as well. And it's supposed to be like a rooftop lounge, and I think Bo Jackson has got like a cafe that he's opening inside of it. And I'm just kind of like, first of all, I already know that this hotel is going to be really fucking expensive to stay there, you know? And secondly, it's right next to Sky Bar. Like, I mean, you're going to deal with a lot of people going in and out of Sky Bar while you're trying to sleep in this like $500 a night hotel.
Right. Yeah. Like it's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm probably going to pay for a room in the hotel.
So we'll probably just sit at the bar at the hotel, most likely.
And just people watch from there.
Watch from there and have the best time.
I think that's one of my favorite things about Sky Bar actually is, you know, whenever I get people to like come out, I like taking them up to the upstairs outside area because one, it's, you know, quieter and you get a chance to actually like engage in conversation, but it's also just really pretty out there.
Yep.
You know what I miss the most though? I miss the bodega, the vault.
Right. Yeah, the
because
vault.
Because remember
yeah.
they had the upstairs area where you could literally just see everything.
Yeah, I hate they changed the vault to like a pizza place.
Oh,
it,
yeah,
It
that's
was
right.
like the
It was
build your own pizza
build your
thing.
own pizza place. That's right.
So it's been so many different things.
Prior to it being the pizza place and they were doing like all the renovations and stuff, we had a coworker of mine from like my daytime, you know, big girl job. It was like his last night that he was in Auburn. So we decided that, you know, we were going to go out and celebrate. And I was working. He ends up, you know, not showing up to work the next morning. The last person that I left him with was like, yeah, I haven't seen him since, you know, I dropped him off to his car. And I was like, okay. First place I call is the jail, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, hey, do you have such and such there? And they're like, yep. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm on my way, you know, to pick up, like, this is his last day of work, you know, and he's leaving to go to California afterwards. So I like grab him and I'm like, what the hell happened? And he couldn't really tell me. So then the other friend was like, okay, so I think what happened was he went into the vault while it was being renovated, grabbed a shovel out of there, and then started chasing people with it.
That's wild.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But he says he's never going to jail ever again.
My brother is a corrections officer at Lee County, and he tells me all the time about people that come in there that I know. And it's like,
oh, no.
you know, it's like you shoot the text, you're like, hey, man, was that you? And they're like, nah, man, not me. Not me. Yeah, it was.
Or it's like busted in Auburn. Like you just see everybody and you're just like, wow.
Yeah, there they are.
There they are.
Living their best life.
Yep, having a good time. I like the mug shots. So you go and look at all the different mug shots and you've got somebody that's like smiling
Somebody's
in it.
just happy to be there. Just,
you know.
I shouldn't have been here.
You ever shown up and busted in Auburn? You been arrested
No,
here?
not me.
Lucky you.
I mean, I've gotten through. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'll keep it going.
Well, goal in life, never make it on that page.
I would never let it down for my brother. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, what's up? I'm here to hang out for the night.
So do you have like your immediate family that's just all in this area as well?
Right. So my parents are from Smith Station, and then my brother's from Smith Station as well. And then I'm here. My sisters all live out of town now. My dad's a motorcycle guy. Like everything is Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
Right? Like you live and breathe by the bar and shield of Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
You know. And then my mom's into it now. She rides. It's crazy. She's got like crazy amount of miles on this trike thing.
Nice.
And it's like she's got 30,000 miles on it in a year. That's what you put on a car in a year. They're big into that. And then and then so my wife's more the Auburn like football fan than me. We're big into Formula One now, so we're both really loving that. I love Auburn too, don't get me wrong. I love the area. I love the place. I love the football.
Do you like tailgating and stuff?
Oh yeah.
What's a typical game day look like for you guys?
So we used to throw tailgates. And you learn from that, right?
How so?
Oh my gosh. So you start the day out, and it's like we set all this stuff up. So we go and we set a living room up outside, right? And we get the TVs out, we set everything up, and then we drink all day. And then we have to tear that down. And it's like by the time it's time to tear it down, everybody that helped you set it up, they gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're here by yourself trying to tear down this thing.
Well, now they have, they built a whole business for that.
Right. But I mean, it takes it away a little bit. It's not like it used to be. Like I
No.
do like tailgate guys. I love the concept. I love the idea of it.
We went ahead and just bought one. Our tailgate was called Back That Pass Up.
I like
It was such a good time because we actually got it for an Iron Bowl. And we also had a friend, it was her 21st birthday. So it was just nice. It was already there. TVs were all set up. We brought some food in, and it was just a good time. Like, you didn't have to do anything really.
The hardest thing at the end of the day is trying to get everything pulled down. And it's like you're carrying a 75-inch TV with somebody that's lit. This is not a fun time. I don't suggest it.
Have you ever dropped a TV before?
We literally caught the TV before it hit the ground.
So at that point, you guys weren't lit, and you're just sober at this.
At this point, we're sober.
I'm excited for football season, though. Do you guys go to the games?
Oh, yeah. So we've got some really good pictures from the games where we've had some ton of fun. And I wear a shirt that she calls it my unlucky shirt, but it's actually pretty lucky. It's done well. Do
you guys go to any of the other sporting events? Gymnastics, basketball, baseball?
Yeah, we've been to pretty much all of it. Yeah.
Which one do you guys favor the most?
Probably it'd be football.
Football
or basketball. We enjoyed the basketball games. We had a good time going to those.
Yeah,
you're like right there,
You're right there, and it's like a little bit more of a faster pace.
Yeah.
How's that been like, just many seasons of watching football and stuff? How has it changed?
Well, the good years and the bad years, right? So it's like everything, when it's great, it's great. And when it's, and shirts are cheaper when it's not. So that's nice. So I'm hoping we have a good year. I mean, we got a good lineup. When Cadillac was like coaching, like that was awesome. Like just the hype, even though we weren't exactly the best, but the hype was there.
Yeah. Spirit of Auburn, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, like speaking of that, we were at Aricia.
Yep.
And I love going there. Like we enjoy that place just as much as Hamilton's.
It's a hotel bar.
Else, but it's a hotel bar. And so we're at Aricia and, we're having dinner and somebody's like, I think that's Cadillac over there. And I'm like, I'm going to go see. Right. So I walk past him. I'm like, hey man, what are you drinking? And he's like, Crown. I was like, cool, man. I'll be back. And I just, do the whole like, hey, I'm a fan. Let me get a picture with you and stuff. So we take the picture. And we go back and sit down, and I have this saying that I say to all my friends, and it's just like an inside like thing. I don't know where I heard it. I heard it somewhere, I'm sure, but it's like we're down like 4 flat tires on a Cadillac. So, we're cool, right?
Yeah.
And so like I'd order a drink for Cadillac Williams and send it to him, and I told the waitress, you have to say this saying when you give it to him. And like, so she goes up and she's like, we're down like 4 flat tires on a Cadillac. And he's like walking out and you can tell he's like looking to see who bought him the drink.
Yeah.
And like, I go walking over there and I just say it back to him, like just to confirm, like, what's up, man? And it was fun. We had a great time.
I think my favorite person that I've met is Charles Barkley.
Oh yeah. Everybody's got a Charles Barkley story.
I mean, like, he resonates with me because he loves tequila.
Yes.
So we just do tequila shots. And I'm just like, thank you.
So I've only met him once, and it was at Hamilton's?
Yeah.
In
He's
downtown Hamilton's.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sitting there, and he's just larger than life guy, right?
Yeah.
And you're like sitting there, and you're like, he's like, let me buy everybody here a shot. And it's tequila, and you're like, yes.
It's tequila.
It's tequila.
We're so glad that it's tequila as his vice. But I mean, did he even come up with a tequila? Because he's got a brand now that's out that I think is vodka.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember. Crap, I feel really bad that I don't know what the brand name is. I'll figure it out and we'll
get a bottle of it.
Yeah, we'll get a bottle.
We'll taste it on the show.
Well, John, thanks for coming on the show.
Well,
I'm excited that you're here and we get to share some stories and take a look at all of the car scene here in Auburn growing. And
yeah, if you got a car, bring it down. Let's hang out.
What's the social media that they should go and
check out? AU Car Meets.
AU Car Meets.
Yeah, on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, John.
Thank you. It was great being here.